so bank reconciliation, that's the next section that you need to look at for your exam. Right, so remember, with a bank recon, to understand a bank recon, you just need to think about two parties. Okay, so the first party is obviously the business. Okay, that's your books. Right, so your records. Okay, you run a business and you will have internal records. What are your internal records? General ledger and journals. Right, or cash book. I see in your course they use cash book. Right, a cash book is just a combination of the sales, not sales, receipts and payments all in one. Okay, a cash book just summarizes your receipts and payments in one layout. See, receipts on the left, payments on the right. That's all it is. Okay, so the bank reconciliation is just looking at what you have in your records and what the bank has in their records. Okay, so the second party is the bank. Okay, so you have a bank account with the bank. Okay, the bank is going to give you a bank statement. Right, those are representing the external records. Okay, so you have your internal records, general ledger and journals, and the bank gives you a bank statement. That's internal, that's external. Right, so when we do a bank recon, you need to check what's in your books and what's in the bank's books, and we need to reconcile any differences. Okay, so sometimes you'll have to adjust. And when do you adjust? Well, can you adjust the bank's records? No, you can't. Can you adjust your records? Yes, you can. So you adjust your records when your records need to be updated or changed or updated, adjusted. Okay. Alright, so that's the first thing. So you always need to decide on whether I'm going to adjust for something or whether I'm going to reconcile. Okay, reconcile is when you have to raise something with the bank and the bank needs to change it. Okay, so the bank needs to process something on their side. Okay, that's why it's called a reconciling item. Reconciling items are items that you cannot change. Okay, but you know there's a discrepancy between your books and the bank's books. You are recording things in your books and the bank is recording things in their books. Right, a simple example of a reconciling item could be an outstanding deposit. Right, so let's assume that your bank statement, how often do you get a bank statement?
Once a month.
Correct. Okay, so a bank statement should be either sent to you via the post or emailed to you digitally, but it's monthly. Okay, and let's assume that every statement is for the period 1, let's say the start of the month, so the start, okay, up to the 30th or 31st or 28th, depending it's Feb, okay, end of the month, each month. Okay, so let's just look at this one. Okay, there's May. Okay, so if I have the month of May, right, do you agree you'll have 1 May to 30 May? Do you agree?
31st of May.
Does May have 31
1
days?
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, 31 days, May. Okay, so if May has 31 days, right, what happens if you go into the branch? Let's assume the 31st of May is a business day. Okay, so the branch opens. And you literally go into the branch at 3:30 before they close their doors, or 29. Okay, you enter the branch on 31st May. Okay, but remember, your statement is going to show the period 1 May to 31st May. That's what the statement is going to show for May. Do you agree?
Correct.
Right, so if you enter the branch on the 31st of May and you deposit cash at the teller, okay, are you going to see that cash deposit on your bank statement for 1 May to 31st May?
No, 'cause it
Probably
only
not.
updates overnight 'cause it's the close of business.
Exactly. Okay, so this will only get processed on 1st June 20, well, okay, 1st June by the bank. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay, but what would you have recorded in your books?
The deposit
Yes, when?
on the 31st of May.
Exactly. Okay, in your books, you recorded a deposit on 31st May for X. Right, so now, is there a discrepancy?
Yes.
Yes, the internal records don't coincide with the external records. So if there's a difference, you need to check. That's why we always ask this question: who is correct? Okay, are we correct? Should we record that deposit in our books?
Yes.
Yes. Have we?
Yes.
Yes. Do we have to adjust our books?
Yes.
No, we
Oh,
don't.
no, we don't adjust our books.
Okay, so
we
it's a
already recorded.
reconciling item.
Okay.
Right, so who is correct?
The business.
Business correct. Bank still needs to process. So it's a reconciling
Entry.
item, yeah, entry. Okay. And now if the bank is correct, so for example, on your bank statement, you see bank charges. Okay? Who's correct?
The bank.
The bank. If there are bank charges on your account, that means you have an expense that the bank has charged your account with. But have you recorded in your books? No, you haven't. So what would you do? You'd have to adjust. You wouldn't reconcile. Okay, because your books need to be updated, changed, or adjusted. Does that make sense? Okay, so when doing a bank recon, you always need to identify whether I'm adjusting or whether I'm reconciling, and that's the whole process. Okay, and the nice thing that you're in banking anyway, so for you it's easy to understand because you probably deal with some of these things perhaps, or maybe you even adjust or reconcile for yourself in terms of your own records, maybe on a month-to-month basis. Because you never know, maybe there are debit orders that come off without you knowing, or errors that occur. Okay, because errors can occur, and if those errors occur, then those errors need to be rectified. Okay, makes sense.
That makes sense.
Okay, so let's complete the question as an example exercise. Exercise page 208. Okay, the required says we need to draw up the cash book. So cash book for which business? Okay, I'm just going to write S Limited. Okay. Right, so the cash book, let's follow the format in your textbook.
Okay.
So date,
Detail.
details, amount. And that's obviously for the receipts part. Okay, so you can create a cash book, or you can create a cash payments journal and a cash receipts journal. Right, so they've just asked you for a cash book, so I'm just doing it in this format. Okay, and then payments, right?
That's details, check number, and amount. Sorry, date, details, check number, amount.
Okay, they've also put check number as well. Okay, so another column. Okay, so that's what they've got. Right, you don't really need that, but I mean, it's fine. As long as you've got the amount, that's what you need, really. Okay, so payments do what to the bank? Decreases the bank. Exactly. And what else do they want us to do? A bank reconciliation statement. Bank reconciliation statement. For what month? For May. Okay, so what does the bank reconciliation statement look like? Well, you've got a debit column and you've got a credit column. Looks very similar to a trial balance, but it works a little bit different because here you're starting with something. Okay, can you change your bank statement balance? No, you can't. So you need to reconcile for it. Okay, so balance as per the bank statement. Okay, something else we need to discuss here in terms of theory. Okay, internal records. If you have a favorable balance, are you going to have a debit or credit in your books?
You would have a debit.
Why?
Assets increase on the debit side.
Correct. Okay, that's if it's favorable.
Yes.
If it's unfavorable, because it's a liability. Good. Okay, what is the bank going to have on their side? So if you have a favorable bank balance, what is the bank going to have on their side?
Credit in the bank record.
Why?
Because it's opposite to us.
Because the bank has a liability. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay, so your deposits is the bank's liability.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a favorable bank balance in your books, i.e. your internal records, your cash book, your journals, your ledger, okay, the bank in their books, in the bank statement, will show a liability, a credit. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay, so you want to see a debit or credit on your bank statements.
Yes.
What do you want to see, a debit or a credit on your bank
A
statements?
credit.
Yes, credits are good, debits are bad. Okay, why? Because an unfavorable balance in your books would be a liability, but it would be an asset for the bank because it's their perspective.
We owe them money. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you can just I give this to students to remember. Think debit orders are bad, right?
Yes.
It's paying.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want a debit order on your account or do you want a credit?
Credit.
A credit. You don't want debit orders. You don't want debits.
Yeah.
Okay, so unfavorable bank balances are debited, favorable are credited. But for this, okay, because that's balance as per the bank statement. So that applies, okay, to this. Makes sense? Okay. Alright, and then we'll obviously have a total here at the bottom, and then we'll reconcile to our books. This will be balance as per the general ledger bank account. Okay, that's your internal records. That's your books. Okay, so then you need to go and you need to look at what you've got in the question. Okay, so we're completing this question. Okay, what do we have? What is the first thing that they've given you? First thing at the top.
At the top. Oh, the balance is for the bank statement.
No, bank recon for which month?
After the month of April, so it's for the
When is
previous
April?
month.
April is the previous month. So if it's the previous month, the previous month is the recon that happened last month. Okay, so we need to confirm if these things have gone through the bank this month. Okay, so last month we had that balance, less outstanding checks. We had 2 outstanding checks in April. Okay, where are you going to see outstanding checks for April? You should see it on your May bank statement. Okay, so do you see any checks there? Okay, so tick that one and tick that one. Have they both gone through? Sure. Okay, they've both gone through, so you can tick those. Okay. Outstanding deposits? Did the outstanding deposit go through?
There's a 500 there, yes.
So tick those 2 amounts. Got that.
Got that.
Hold on, why is there a 450 there? What is the 450 for? Oh, the 450 is the running balance. Okay,
Yes,
don't worry about that.
Okay.
Okay, you've ticked all of that. And then you've got balance as per the cash book, 950. So that's your opening balance. Is that favorable or unfavorable?
That is favorable.
It's favorable, yes. Okay, so if it's favorable, where would the balance be?
In the receipts.
on this side. Okay, so 1st of May balance brought down. Favorable, how much?
950.
950. Okay, then we've got our cash book. The cash book is whose records?
The company's
It's
records.
our records. So we need to confirm our records with the banks.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at receipts first. First receipt 750. Is that here?
750, yes.
Tick those two. Tick both, yeah.
655.
655, tick both. Next.
156.
156, is that here?
No, I don't see that.
Circle it.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've looked at something. Okay, let's just put a note here. In your cash book, you recorded a receipt
1560.
1560. Has the bank?
No,
No.
it's not in the bank.
Is there any
Oh, hold on,
additional
hold on,
information?
sorry. It is there. Hold on. 1560.
Okay, it is
Yes,
there.
and so they've put it over like.
Okay, so it is there, so
Sorry,
we
that's
should actually
there.
tick it.
Sorry,
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't see the one there.
Okay, let's tick it.
Okay.
900,
is also
tick.
there. So the only one will be 1450.
Sure.
Not, yes.
Okay, so you've circled 1450.
50.
Okay, is that recorded in your books?
Yes.
Are your books correct?
Yes.
Yes. Do you need to adjust?
Yes.
No.
Oh, no, we don't need
Your
to
books are
It's
correct.
the bank we need to reconcile.
Is that in the bank's books?
No.
No. Must the bank account for it?
Yes.
Yes. Is it a reconciling item?
Yes.
Yes. And that's why you record it on the side. Outstanding deposit. How much?
1450.
Okay, so has the bank captured it? No. When they capture it, how are they going to capture a deposit?
On the credit side.
Exactly. How much?
1450.
Okay, and there's your outstanding deposit. Right, so let's do the same thing with our cash book payments.
Okay.
Cash book payments, anything there that we haven't accounted for.
That one's gone through.
Okay, that check, 239 has gone through, ticket. 240,
Gone through.
ticket.
750 for rent.
Ticket.
241. 150 is gone
Ticket.
through. 600
Ticket.
gone through. 950. No, that hasn't gone
Okay,
through.
circle it.
And 500 hasn't gone through.
Circle it. Okay, so in your cash book,
We've got 2 payments.
you have recorded 2 payments.
900.
One for creditors,
No, one for drawings.
one for the owner, drawings. Okay, so question. Are your books correct?
Yes.
Do you need to adjust?
No.
No. Are the bank's books correct?
No.
No. See, you've written out a check, you've given someone the check. It's up to that person to go deposit the check for that transaction to complete, right?
Yes.
Because you've issued a check, and unless someone else has deposited the check into their bank account, that check will be outstanding until it clears. Okay, so is the bank going to have to do something?
Yes.
Yes. Are these checks outstanding?
Yes.
Yes. Adjust, reconcile.
Reconcile.
Exactly. So these are outstanding
Checks.
checks. Right. Number.
Check number 244 for 950 rand and 245.
Okay. Debit or credit?
Debit.
Good. Because when the bank processes these checks, they're going to debit your account.
So it'll be 950 and 500.
Good. Okay. And that's it. Now you've looked at your internal records, you need to check the external records. Okay, so go line by line. Do you have a ruler? Yeah, let's use the ruler.
Wait, I have a smaller one. It might be a little bit easier.
Okay.
Okay.
Ticked. Keep going. Have we ticked? Yes. Have we ticked? Yes. Have we ticked? Yes. Have we ticked? Yes. 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 Have we ticked? No. Okay, what is that? Circle it. Check RD.
Yes, unpaid check.
It's a dishonor check.
Yes.
Okay, so check RD. We see this on the bank statement. Okay, what does that represent? It represents a check that you deposited previously.
It was unpaid.
That was dishonored. Okay, so someone gives you a check. You take that check to the bank. You deposit it into your bank account. Okay, later on the bank tries to transfer funds from that person's account to yours and they can't. And therefore they dishonor the check. Okay, so a check that is dishonored, who's correct? Is the bank correct?
The bank is correct.
Correct.
So then it's adjust.
Yes. Okay, what would you have recorded previously in your books? A receipt or a payment?
A receipt.
Exactly.
Receipt it in.
Good. So dishonored checks always go to the
Credit side.
cash payments, yes. Okay, we need working totals here though, hey? Was there a total? Did they give you a total here? They didn't give you a total because they just gave you the opening balance. We need to put a total to start with. So we need to put total receipts and then total payments. We need something to work with. Total.
Add them up quickly.
We can add it here. Okay, what are the amounts? 750 plus
655
plus
1560
plus
900
plus.
1450.
Okay, next column.
It's
600 plus 15
750
750
150
150
600
600
950
950
500.
500. Okay, so that's what we're starting with. Alright, so do we need to capture a dishonored check? Yes. Dishonored checks always get captured here on the cash payments journal.
Of 250.
Okay,
Then there's a
debit order for insurance. Okay, let's think about this. Debit order on the bank statement. Correct or not?
yes, that's
Correct. If there's a debit order on the bank statement, has the bank captured it?
Yes.
Are the bank's books correct?
Yes.
Do we need to adjust?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, there's nothing to do with the bank. The bank has done it.
Yes.
We need to capture it because we haven't yet. So a debit order would be seen as a receipt or a payment.
If we receipt a payment.
Correct.
So it's debit order 150 rand.
Yeah, I think it was for insurance.
Yes.
Okay.
And then a bank charge.
Bank charges, same
The
story.
bank is correct. We have to adjust.
Bank charges on the bank statement means adjust your books. The bank is correct, we need to adjust.
And that's 50 rand.
Okay, great. Is that everything?
That's
That's everything. Okay, now we just need to complete the bank reconciliation statement. What was the balance as per the bank statement? Are you reconciling the end balance or the beginning balance?
I'd say the end balance.
Correct. Is that favorable or unfavorable?
It's favorable.
Correct. So debit or credit?
A credit.
Good. 765. It's favorable. Favorable bank balance on the bank statement is a credit.
Yes.
Okay. Let's balance off this account. Which side's bigger? This gives us 550.
No,
This side is bigger. Okay, so sum up. This side is bigger. So that's the balance that you want. Okay, balance carry down. The next month,
balance
brought down. Okay, this figure is going to be the difference minus all of these. Okay, there's the balance. Is that right?
Start with 765.
Okay,
that's the same
so
as the-
that's the balance that you've got. Okay, but now we need to get the balance here. We need to add up this side and that side. Sum up this side. This side is bigger, hey?
correct.
Okay, we want that on both sides. Right, and we've got those two debits. So the missing figure, this is a balancing figure. You take that amount and you subtract those two, and you get that. Okay, and if you've done it correctly, right, your balance here should be exactly the same as the balance there. Remember, these two things are separate.
Yes.
What's on the left? Internal records. What's on the right? External records. Right, and that's why they call it a bank reconciliation, because you want to check that the internal records reconcile with the external records, because what you have in your books should reconcile with what the bank has in their books. Okay, and that's the process. So this was a shorter example. The process is exactly the same. Okay, that's why this is everything. Adjust or reconcile. You don't do both. It's one or the other. You need to decide who is correct. Okay, so when you do a bank recon, you just need to identify, are we correct or is the bank correct? If the bank is correct, then we need to adjust. If we're correct, then the bank needs to do something. They need to reconcile, basically. Okay, makes sense.
That makes sense.
All right, so that's just one example. I've got another example, but as I said, I've given you the question. It's on
Yes, it was at
it's on the
assignment
website.
text.
You can download it. I can even send it to you, but then that's a longer question, but it might be too difficult for what you're doing. So I don't know what you want to do. If you want to do my question or rather do your past papers. I think past papers are probably better.
Okay.
So what I would suggest you maybe do is look for bank recon questions in the past papers, because then it's the right standard. Okay, it might be easier or more difficult, it depends, but look for questions in your past papers and try to do those bank recons like what we've done here. Okay, and this is a bit different. So I've done it using a cash book rather than a cash receipts journal and a cash payments journal. It doesn't matter. Either or is fine. It just depends how they want it. Okay, here they wanted it as a cash book, so I've done it as a cash book. Okay, makes sense.
Makes sense.
Great.